Okay, so here we have our scene file that created that animated GIF that you saw earlier. There's quite a few cylinders being cloned on a sphere, and I'm going to walk you through that. And we also have a pretty short timeline because we are creating a GIF that's going to be playing back at a roughly 10 frames a second, somewhere in there. So it's a 15-frame timeline, and lots of different little things going on here. So let's just start from scratch. Let's just go and see where we get. First thing I'm going to do is set up my time or my render output to a square. So I'm going to make that 600 by 600 is fine. I'm not going to get too far into the render settings just yet. I'm going to go ahead and change my go into configure, and I like to bring my tinted border up a little bit so I can see a little bit better where I'm at. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's grab a camera. I'm going to look through that camera, and let's just go and zero out that camera. And that's good. And we're going to dive into the top view. We're just going to drag it back quite a bit. Now, when you're using a camera in a square aspect ratio, you're going to probably want to use a slightly longer lens than you would normally. So I'm going to change that to a 75mm lens. Let's drop a sphere in here, which is going to drive everything that we're going to be doing. And so our sphere will be what's going to drive our cloner, and let's create some cylinders to kind of make our spikes. And let's make them pretty skinny. So maybe 2 at like 20 tall. And we'll, maybe a little taller than that, maybe like 50. Okay, so we've got our first cylinder created here. We're going to clone it onto our sphere. So with the cylinder selected, I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to go down to Mograph and hit Cloner. And that's just going to automatically build a cloner with our cylinder in it. And we're going to select the cloner. We're going to change it to a object cloner. And we're going to make sure that we drag our sphere down into this little object slot. And you can see they're all kind of oriented along the vertex points, which is what we don't want. We want them actually to be spread out all along the surface normal. So we're going to change this from up vector to surface, and there we go. Well, that doesn't look right, does it? Because our cylinders are actually laying down on our sphere, not sticking out. So let's go back into our cylinders and change the orientation from positive Y to positive Z. So now they're sticking out of our sphere, and they're looking pretty good. In fact, let's bring up the number of them quite a bit so we can see them a little bit better. So that looks good. Now I want to actually change a few more things. I want to make maybe one more cylinder, and I'm clicking the cylinder, I'm holding down Control to kind of clone it, and then I'm just going to make this one a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to do like a 1. So now we have a little bit of variation in our cylinders that are sticking out of our cloner. The other thing I'm going to do now is grab a couple of random effectors. So I'm going to grab one random effector that is not going to do the position, because that is just craziness. This one is going to just randomize the Z so that they're not all the same. So maybe 1, and that's pretty good. And so the second random effector that I'm going to make is going to be like a uniform scale. So they're not all just between these, these two different thicknesses of cylinders. So I'm going to grab uniform scale and make that like 0.2, something in there. All right, so now we've got quite a few differences in our spikes. I'm going to actually increase our amount to 2,000 just so we can get a little bit more out of that. All right, that looks good. And now we need to kind of use a shader effector to kind of make them stick in and out. Just like I'm going to open up our thing again here, and we can see that they're kind of poking out in different ways and rates. So that's what we're going to use our shader effector for. So cloner selected, I'm going to go into effector and grab shader, and we want that shader effector to affect the scale, but not necessarily a uniform scale, just the Z. So I'm going to actually bring that to 1. That's pretty good. and I'm going to offset, well, we'll do that later. Actually, this will be fine. All right, so right now our shader effector is not really using anything. We don't have anything driving it right now. So we want it to be driven by a texture. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide this cloner. I'm going to put a shader onto this sphere so we can start to make our noise shader that's going to drive these spikes. Okay, so let's go into basic. We're going to turn off reflectance, turn off color. We're going to turn on luminance. We're going to go into the luminance and we're going to pick a noise. One of my favorite things in cinema are the noises, and the fact that you can loop the noises and do all sorts of crazy stuff with the noises is great. So I'm going to grab a blistered turbulence, and I don't need that many octaves, so I'm going to do like 3 octaves. And I'm going to start to mess around with the low clip and the high clip. So I'm just going to kind of bring it to a place like this. It's not kind of contrasty. And I'm going to bring the scale up, maybe to like 200. And I feel like it's too much white, because everywhere it's white, it's going to be fairly, all the spikes are going to be sticking out, and everywhere it's black, they're not going to be sticking out. All right, that looks good. I think that's a good noise. Now let's figure out how we're going to animate this thing. So the best part about these noises, I think, is the loop period. So loop period here is set to 0. If I set that to 1, it means that it's going to loop at every 1 second. So our project setting is at 30 frames a second. So we want this to loop in 15 frames, because that's really all we need. So I'm going to dive back into here, and I'm going to say I want it to, and half of a second is 15 frames. So I'm going to change that loop period to 0.5, which is going to be 15 frames. So let's change our last frame to be 14. So with 0 here, we've got 15 frames. And our speed, let's change to like 1.5 or something like that. I'm going to hit play. It's not going to play back in my viewport the way you would expect, but I can come over here and hit animate by right-clicking on my little swatch here, and you can see it's going pretty crazy, and it's RAM previewing, and now it's playing back in real time. And yeah, that looks pretty good. For this purpose, you might want to, you could tweak it all you want to get the look that you want, but for right now, I think that's good enough for the demo. So right, we've got it looking the way we want it to. We're going to use it to drive this cloner, so let's turn our cloner back on. And we're going to grab our shader effector, and we're going to tell it, okay, custom shader. Yeah, no, we want to use luminance. It's going to say, well, what texture tag do you want me to use for this luminance? So I'm going to grab my little picker here, and I'm going to grab that shader. And now, if I kind of click around, you can kind of see our spike ball going crazy here and looking good. Only problem is, I think my default length on my cylinders are too long. So I'm going to grab both my cylinders here and go into object and change their height to, let's say, 10. Let's make it like 2. I don't want them to stick out that much. And so I've basically limited their scale quite a bit right there. So now I want to make sure that my shader effector is actually going to be scaling them up sufficiently. So I'm going to start raising this up to a value that I think is good. And same thing with my random. I'm going to go ahead and randomize that guy. Oh, that's too much. Let's try 0.25. That's good. And that guy's probably still good. All right, so now we've got kind of our spike ball going, and maybe they could be even a little bit longer than that if you want. You know, you can start to like drag this number up to like, you know, maybe 40, even 60, something like that. You can even start to like, you know, create more clones, which is kind of what I did. I had quite a few clones, and I think I actually had a bigger noise. It was probably like at 400% to give it a little bit more, you know, contrast between a little bit more surface area that's, you know, without the spikes and one with the spikes. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and RAM preview this, or sorry, play blast this, and show you what that looks like before we move on. All right. here is the RAM preview playing back at 30. We probably don't want it to play back at 30. We probably want to play it back around 10. That's probably about the frame rate that we'll be doing our GIF in, so that makes the most sense. All right, so now let's have some fun and try to light this thing up, similar to how I was doing with this GIF here. Of course, this one has a lot of comping going on. I'm not going to get into that too much. A lot of the depth of field and glow and grain was all happening in the comp, which, you know, I'm sure you can figure out, or, you know, if you throw enough comments under this tutorial, maybe I'll pick up another tutorial. All right, so I want to start with the lighting. So one of my favorite tools is the Greyscalegorilla HDR Studio plugin. So I'm going to drop that into my scene, and I'm going to pick my favorite map, which is going to be the Pro Studios 19. So let's grab that guy, put him in there. First thing I like to do is make sure that I'm oriented correctly. I turn on the preview. I'm going to get out of layer color mode. And I'm going to rotate this guy to where he needs to be, which is right there. And he's all ready to go. And now I'm going to work on my render settings. One of the best features of HDR Studio Rig is the ability to insert render settings from the plugin, kind of preset render settings for doing HDR lighting with this tool. So I'm going to hit insert render settings. And I'm going to turn on GI low, but I'm actually going to go a little bit even lower than the low. I guess I could go GI draft too, but that's fine. All right, let's make sure my output settings are correct. 600 by 600. For this, I'm just going to go a little smaller just so we can get it done a little faster. I'm going to go into the plugin's seamless floor controls. And I'm going to turn off the floor, and I'm going to give it a gradient background, similar to what I was doing in my all fuzzed out GIF. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to create some shaders. So I duplicated out this sphere earlier, which is going to be a catch-all kind of sphere. I'm going to throw like a black material on there, just kind of a blackout material, and make sure reflectance is turned off. Good. And I'm going to create a Fresnel material that's going to go onto our spikes. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to turn on, I'm going to my color, bring it to pretty low color, maybe like a 10 in brightness is probably fine. I'm going to delete the default specular and create a Beckman specular with a roughness of 20%. I'm going to change the Fresnel to a dielectric, which is going to do like a plexiglass. I think will get me where I want to be. But right now, our cylinders don't have any sort of caps or fillets to them. So I'm going to go into my cylinder. I'm going to select both of them, and I'm going to turn on fillet. And this will probably take a second. And I'm going to change the segment. I'll leave the segments as fine. And let's give it a radius of 1 centimeter, which is going to be way too much. Let's try a 0.1 radius. And it'll take a second for it to update here. And there we go. So this will just catch the light in a little bit more of an interesting way than just a straight up flat kind of edge to those cylinders. I do have a lot of cloners on this thing right now, and it's getting a little bit slow. So one thing you could do, something that I like to do, is grab my 2 cylinders here, go into my tags, and go under display tag. And I'm just going to tell it to use a very, I'm going to basically tell it to use a box. So I'm going to switch it from shading mode to lines and from style to box. And now it's going to be a little bit quicker for me to navigate my scene. It's not going to be as heavy. All right, so let's render this out and see what we get, see if we like it, and we'll tweak as needed. All right, so who can tell me what I did not do? I did not actually assign the material to the cloner. Stupid mistake, but we all make them. Another thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm actually using render instances, which is going to make the whole thing go a little bit faster. So I can already tell, though, that the lighting is going to work for me. I might need a bit more of a rim light. We'll just see how this looks. I'm going to hit pause and render again. Okay, so this is where that render took me, and I think it's pretty close. I think I do want to mess around with some of the settings on my studio rig. I'm going to bring the brightness up to 120, and I'm just going to go ahead and also bring up the brightness of the color correction up to like 15%. Maybe not that much, maybe like 10%. And we're going to render this and see how it looks. It should bring out a lot more of the mids, the details, and the highlights, and just below the brightest of the highlights. All right, so there you have it. It's pretty low anti-aliasing settings, but I usually only work in very low quality settings until I'm ready to render out for final, or I'm checking something very specific. So this is pretty much good to go. I mean, I would just render this out as a sequence with an alpha and comp it all to get this kind of look that we got going here. And honestly, I probably could even have less surface area where it's spiking out. Increasing the size of that noise could do that for me pretty easily. But so I hope this is useful. If I get enough people requesting it in the comments, maybe I'll throw the scene file up there. Of course, it will only render this way if you have the HDR Studio rig, but it might be useful to you anyway, just to check out how it was made. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Check you next time. Have a great day.